How do you hook an audience? It's Tuesday Tips with Tina B. So excited to have you here with me today. And many times when we do a presentation or share a story, it's hard for us to understand just exactly how to start. Well, one way to do that is to hook them with an analogy. I was working with my husband about a year ago when he was presenting a webinar, and he presented his introduction to me. And at the end, he said, "Well, how did that go?" I asked him, "How did you feel about it?" And he did not like it one bit. He didn't feel engaged. Well, together we came up with an analogy that he could start his talk. It was focusing on how he's evolved his farming practices. So we had him discuss how my son evolved his uses of Legos and playing with Legos, how he started with small little figurines like this Wonder Woman and teeny tiny kits that had maybe 10 pieces, 20 pieces, to something super complex like this Chiefs Stadium. And he had to do that through practice, through trial and error, and just getting better at that. Just like my husband, the farmer, evolving his farming practices, that it's become more complex and seeing the need for diversity with plants and with animals. The analogy is talking about and breaking down what my son and his experiences with Legos and comparing that to farming practices. When you hear the word analogy, it's a general term for a comparison between two things to share experiences, to show versus tell. So different types of analogies are metaphors, similes, etc. And it's a great way to actually start your talk. And an extended metaphor, which is what, or actually the analogy, is a great way to really get your audience to think with an abstract concept to bring it alive. When we think of an analogy, that comparison concept, it's really talking about it must be like this or just like this, and give your example. And when you think of Martin Luther King Jr., he is the mastermind of different analogies, from justice rolls down like waters or righteousness like a mighty stream. Those are two examples of similes. And there was one good example of a hook that a speaker brought into a talk, and that is they use this, that each day 100,000 Americans stand up to make a speech. If they were all waiting their turn, um, other than the approximate, that would be, they would all wait their turn on a soapbox. They would then form a line of 28 miles long. So let me repeat that, that each day 100,000 Americans stand up to make a speech. And if they were all waiting their turn to be on their soapbox, they would form a line 28 miles long. So that is a beautiful comparison of sharing, here's this many people, 100,000 Americans, and comparing that to the length of 28 miles. That's giving us a visualization of people and who's waiting to share a speech, which I thought was appropriate considering we're talking about a hook in presentations. When you go to design your hook with analogy, be sure first it's easy to say. I just modeled that somehow with this quote, I needed to write it a little bit better, but you want to make sure that you are presenting something easy to say, that's interesting, and that is in alignment with your topic. It's so crucial that you meet those expectations when you hook your audience, because it's a crucial way to grab them, establish that credibility, and help them choose to listen to you. For that is what public speaking is all about, that it is a persuasive means to connect with your audience and have that shared experience in that ephemeral one moment in time. Moving forward, think about where you can hook your audience next time with a powerful analogy. What is that comparison that can shine through and make your message matter? Till next time, check out Tuesday Tips with Tina B, noon Central. And also, if you're looking to share a story and get better at your story, join me for a webinar June 3rd, Central Standard Time, 10 to noon. That's Central Standard Time, 10 to noon on June 3rd, a Friday. And you can check out how to structure and frame your story. So excited to be here, and have an amazing day. Remember to be you and be true.